Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary. It is Sunday, June the 23rd, and I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. I'm a little tired. My voice is a little scratchy and a little hoarse. If you've been following along, you know it's been a bit of a whirlwind weekend for me, but I'm not complaining. I'm very blessed. You guys know that I feel very grateful for all the things that I'm involved with. But as you guys know, I had the Summer Summit and the Botchford event Thursday night. The Friday night was the draft. Then Saturday morning at midnight, I turned 45 years old. Thank you so much for all the greetings. I really appreciate it. The birthday greetings, and then including one from the Vancouver Canucks, a very nice tweet from them last night, which I really appreciated. And then I was volunteering at Sean's Aftergrad from midnight to 8 a.m. Got home to shower, back to Rogers Arena for day 2 of the draft. Thank God day 2 was a little slower because it gave me a chance to just kind of chill in the seat for a bit. In my seat. Then finally dinner at the Keg, seeing Marie Huey. Went to go see Marie with my lovely wife. Saw her sing last night, so that was kind of cool. Didn't dance because I simply don't dance. And then tonight, a bit of a more chill day. I drove Sean to a golf tournament. Was supposed to have a work event that got canceled, but thankfully it did. Supposed to have a work event. It got canceled. And then I'm going to take it easy today, catch up a little bit on rest, maybe do some laundry, and then back out to that charity golf tournament for the dinner tonight with my son Sean. Okay, so enough me bragging or pretending that I think I'm important. But what was really cool is meeting so many of you, so many YouTube viewers, so many Twitter followers. Not just because it makes me feel good. I'm just glad that I appreciate that people out there do appreciate this content. So to everyone who came up to me and took a picture with me or said hello or we traded handles or whatever it was, and you just came up and said that you watched these videos either on YouTube or Twitter. Thank you. I do appreciate you. I don't take any of this for granted. I don't have the biggest following ever, but it's still nice. And admittedly, it's a little nice for the ego. It's kind of funny when people do stop me at these events. But whether it was the Summer Summit, the Botchford event, or either the 2 days at the draft, I love meeting everyone. I wouldn't even say they're fans of mine. That's the wrong term. But I love meeting everyone that I encountered, whether they were media insiders or big YouTubers, whatever it be, or simple fan, not simple, or fans that watch some of my content. Thank you to all of you. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the fact that I think Jim Benning had a good weekend. And when you look at the weekend as a whole, take out Elias Pettersson's Calder Trophy win from Tuesday, take that out. But when you look at the draft itself, who they got, and then the trade for JT Miller. And I'll talk about both not very quickly. I'll talk about both a little bit here. But like I said, I think Jim Benning had a very good weekend. Let's start on Friday night. We know this. I did a quick video. Many people have done videos. The Vancouver Canucks draft with their 10th pick, their first pick, the 10th overall pick, Russian forward Vasily Podkolzin. And the more and more I read about this, the more and more I think this is a steal. I thought that right when it happened. I said that when I recorded my video on Friday. And we know that a lot of people, he was dropped in a lot of people's draft rankings because he's Russian, because of the 2-year contract. But no one, absolutely no one, could deny his skill. They don't deny that he's one of the hardest working players out there. He can play in all situations, even strength, power play, penalty kill. He's good on the boards. He's good in front of the net. All these things that make him such an appealing player. All these things made him the 3rd ranked prospect coming out of Christmas, only behind the big 2 of Hughes and Kakko. He was still high on people's boards April, May, or I'd say in April, the top 5, but then he kind of dropped throughout May and throughout June because of some of the concerns. But everyone I said, whether they said on the Sportsnet broadcast or any insiders, Corey Pronman, everyone ranking this, touting this draft pick as a potential steal. He's a top 5 talent that we got at number 10. And like I said on Friday night, a very, very similar feel to Elias Pettersson, where people are saying maybe we got a steal in him. Now, granted, we picked at number 5, and the 4 that went before him were very good players, obviously. But in the 2017 draft. But overall, people and that's Patrick Heischer, Heiskanen, and Makar, of course. But overall, people very, very excited and very happy with that Pettersson pick. But at the time, when we did draft him, not a lot of people knew about him. People rushed to see highlights, or people were wondering, this guy was ranked actually a lot lower. So I guess in that point, with that respect, it's a little different in that we picked Pettersson higher than most people had him. Yet, obviously, we are absolutely thrilled with the results as a Calder Trophy winner and likely the centerpiece of our team going forward for many, many years to come. This one's a little different. We drafted Podkolzin lower than some people. Actually, we drafted him where people thought he would be in the 10-12 range, but he could turn out to be a top 5 pick. So what I'm saying, or a top 5 talent, what I'm saying is it's similar to the Pettersson feeling from 2 years ago in that it could be a steal of the draft. And you could argue that Pettersson is arguably the best player of that 27 draft class, although it's only 2 years out. You could say Podkolzin could be right up there with Hughes and Kakko as a game changer in this draft. So overall, a great pickup by Jim Benning. And the crowd at Rogers Arena, I can tell you because I was there, excited about that pick. I think people wanted Boldy or Caulfield at that, given that they're available. They certainly didn't want Soderstrom as a D-man. And there was a good buzz and a good cheer as people got excited. And you saw the excitement in Podkolzin when his reaction, his joy when he was drafted. So that was really cool to see that. And I think it's going to be a great pick for the Canucks. And like many people have said, we're not worried about this 2-year contract. Even if he doesn't try and break the second year, let's say KHL holds firm and he has to play those 2 years. That's the same as everyone else drafted the 9, 10, 11, 12 range. Basically anyone drafted out of that's not going to play next year. The only two guys that might be able to play next year are Hughes and Kakko, and maybe Byram. Then there will be a small handful that plays after a year. But the majority of those guys, if they make the NHL, are going to take 2 years or more. And that's a year in college or a year in major junior, and then a year on a farm team somewhere. If Podkolzin does 2 years in Russia, he doesn't do the college or junior route, and he doesn't do the farm team route. Maybe he makes the team as a 20-year-old, right? His birthday is tomorrow, so he's 17 going on 18 tomorrow, so he'll make the team as a 20-year-old in September of 2021. I don't think anyone will be complaining about that. So that is indeed Vasily Podkolzin. Very happy about that pick. Day 2, there are a lot of other people that have done. In fact, my good friend, I've never met him, but he seems like a good friend. Gio, Lego Rocks 99. Check out his channel. He did a really good breakdowns of all the Vancouver Canucks draft picks. Very impressive, actually, that he was able to pump out so many videos on that day. But I will say this: the Canucks drafted a lot of speed, a lot of skill on day 2, on Saturday, highlighted, of course, by their second-round pick at number 40, and that would be Hoglander, Niels Hoglander. And the cool thing about him is a lot of people had him ranked in the 20s, right, at the end of the first round. So to get a potentially first-round talent at basically the third mark of the second round, the pick number 40, that could also be a steal. And Prominence said that Hoglander has the best hands in the draft, which is a huge compliment. Plays with speed, skill, only 5'9", but very creative, and like a lot of Swedish players are, obviously, i.e. Pettersson. So this could be yet another steal for the Vancouver Canucks. And in any draft, you definitely want one player to make the team, if not two. So maybe that's who makes the team eventually 3 or 4 years there. We're talking about both Podkolzin and we're talking about Hoglander, and maybe one of the other forwards that the Canucks drafted in later rounds. So overall, I'm very happy with that Hoglander pick as well. Going to learn more about him, but it sounds like from all accounts that could also be a steal at number 40. So that's about the draft. That was the Friday, Saturday. But then the monotony of day 2, obviously a lot more boring than day 1, a lot slower, a lot more informal. But it started off with a bang with a JT Miller trade from Tampa Bay. I talked about in my video from yesterday. In essence, we get JT Miller, 26 years old, 51-point average over the past 4 seasons, including a 57-point season last year, split between the Rangers and Tampa Bay. $5.25 million over those 4 years, each year 5.25. Very fair number, given that he's a bona fide second line. He's not a first liner, but he's a bona fide second liner with an average of 51 points over the past 4 seasons. That's outstanding production. He did it with limited ice time, actually. There were so many other guys playing ahead of him in Tampa Bay. Granted, he was playing with really talented players, but he's playing in a third and fourth line role on that Tampa Bay team. So more minutes might lead to more points. So overall, I love the acquisition of JT Miller. Boom. Full stop. Actually, not full stop yet. He can play with Horvat. You can even try him with Pettersson and Besser. Wherever he plays, he'll be a top 6 winger, and I think that's a great pickup for the Canucks. Boom. Full stop. You look at what we gave up. Marek Mazanec, backup goalie, was never going to make it with the big club, so that's okay. Third rounder, the 71st pick yesterday. Yeah, you never want to give up draft picks, but we still had, I think, 7 or 8 over the entire course of the seven rounds. And then a lot of people talking about this conditional first round pick, right? And a lot of people saying this was way too much, especially when you're trying to, Tampa Bay should have been giving us a first round pick, given that we were trying to help them with their salary structure. And we know that this conditional first round pick is simply it's either 2020 or it's 2021. If the Canucks make the playoffs in 2020, then the pick that goes to them will be that 2020 pick. So obviously in the bottom half between 17 and 31. If the Canucks do not make the playoffs, then we get to keep our 2020 pick. So it could be a lottery pick. It could be anywhere in the top 15, obviously, top 16, top 15. And then no matter what happens, if we do not make the playoffs next season, then Tampa Bay will get our 2021 first round pick. So that could be a lottery pick. It could be, we haven't been winning the lottery. It could be anywhere down to 15. So obviously the Canucks are betting on themselves. Jim Benning is betting on himself, betting on the team to make the playoffs either this season, 2020, or next season, 2021. So I hope you followed all that. Basically, if the Canucks do not make the playoffs, we get to keep our 2020 pick, but then we give the Tampa Bay Lightning our 2021 pick no matter what happens. So in essence, the Canucks got to make the playoffs once over the next 2 seasons to make sure that it's a bottom half of the first round. Doesn't matter how deep the draft is. You never know what you're going to get in the bottom half. So if the Canucks do make the playoffs, that conditional first round draft pick is not that bad. Sure, you don't want to give it up in a perfect world, but it's not that bad. You don't know what a guy picked 17th or 18th or 20th is going to work out to be. It could be someone as good as Brock Besser, who's picked at 23rd, but it might be a guy who never plays in the league, and we've seen a lot of stories about that. So all to say, right now, at least we know what we're getting in JT Miller, a good, hardworking, skilled top 6 forward who can put up 50 points a season and improve our team now over the next 4 years. In 2 or 3 years, when Pettersson and Hughes are peaking, when Horvat's peaking, when Besser's peaking, he helps us win now. That draft pick from 2020 or 2021, we might not have seen him until 2024 or 2025, and he may or may not pan out. So you might be saying, "Oh, Clay, you're just taking Benning's side, or you're just being optimistic or glass half full." Of course, that's what I do as the president, the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. And I get that people were upset. I get that people, they see what what you had to give up for a guy like Subban, and you might say, well, the Canucks gave up too much. Yeah, you can say that all you want, but it's done. I'm not going to spend time worrying about it or fighting people on Twitter. I'm not a betting apologist, but I do look to see the good, and I see the reasons why they made this trade. And maybe they could only make the trade. Maybe Tampa Bay was bargaining so hard that you could only make the trade if you had to throw in a first rounder. I don't know the results. I don't know the negotiations. But I will say that I am fine with this trade, and I can't wait to see JT Miller do well with the Canucks and really put people's fears to rest. And imagine if Miller helps lead the Canucks to a playoff position, a playoff spot. Then we worry about the draft pick this season, already 2020, gone to Tampa Bay, regardless of what happens 2021. So we have a lot of time to talk about it, but I'm okay because I'm okay with what JT Miller will bring to our team. Lastly, one thing I want to share, in speaking to one of the many insiders and analysts that I was able to speak to both in length and very quick hellos, one of them, very well respected, very well connected, did say to me that the Vancouver Canucks will be all in their pursuit of Tyler Myers, the big D man. So whether you like him or hate him, depending on what happens with Myers, especially if it does work out, we do get him. I can't wait to see yet another Twitter explosion, get to see negative comments on some of my videos, whether it's fine, but we can talk about that when we get there. But it looks like, for better for worse, you like him or not, it looks like the Canucks are going to refuse to be outbid, or going to go really hard on the big defenseman named Tyler Myers. We can talk about that when that actually happens. It's going to be a very interesting 8 days now. We've got the free agent negotiating window opening up in a couple days ahead of the July 1 free agent period. And of course, that doesn't preclude you from making a trade. So I think we're going to, overall, between the draft, between the JT Miller trade, and then any other free agent moves, we're going to have to look at this 2-week period as a whole. Let's not get too excited about one draft pick, although I did. Let's not get too mad about one conditional draft pick that we're giving up, although I may have done that. But overall, let's look at the big picture and see what happens, transpires over these next 2 weeks. But all in all, you throw in the draft, Podkolzin on day 1, Hoglander and others on day 2, and JT Miller trade on day 2 as well. I think that Jim Benning had a good weekend. Well, hey, Canucks fans, let me know what you think. I've gone on for 14 minutes here, maybe because I'm tired, but I thought I was pretty articulate for a guy going on like 5 hours sleep over the past 2 days. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I actually have time today to read, react, and reply, and I'd love to see what you have to say about Podkolzin, about Hoglander, about the JT Miller trade. I'm always fascinated. I always appreciate you taking the time to watch and to leave a comment below. So go ahead and do so. I'll read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy your day. I'm going to relax a little bit, do some laundry and catch up, and then join my son for that golf tournament dinner. It should be good. Have a great day. God bless. Go Canucks, go.